Hello, my name is Julia, and welcome to That Ain't Right, a true crime podcast. As we're in the third week of October, I felt like it was only right to cover another case that occurred on Halloween. So, today we will be discussing the case of Yoshihiro Hattori. Yoshihiro was born in Nagoya, Japan on November 22nd, 1975. And when he was just 16 years old, in August of 1992, he went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana as part of the American Field Service Student Exchange Program. And he was staying with Richard and Holly Haymaker, along with their son Webb, and his friends and family fondly called him Yoshi. Now, when Yoshi came to the United States, instead of playing rugby like he did in Japan, he decided to go for a jazz dance class. He was also incredibly intelligent. To even make the student exchange program for the US, there was a test and entrance paper which he wrote about wanting to make it his second home. His teenage homestay brother Webb received an invitation to a Halloween party on October 17, 1992, and Yoshi was also invited since it was organized specifically for Japanese exchange students. Yoshi dressed up in a white tuxedo to dress up as John Travolta's character in Saturday Night Fever. Webb drove them to the neighborhood in Baton Rouge and arrived around 8 p.m., but accidentally went to the wrong house. However, when the porch light turned on and they heard rustling at the side door, they went towards it. A woman named Bonnie Pierce opened the door and quickly closed it when the pair started moving toward the house, thinking the boys were a threat. Yoshi and Webb spoke to them, saying, quote, "We're here for the party," unquote. And she then told her husband Rodney to get his gun. This is when Yoshi and Webb realized they were at the wrong house, so they walked back to the car. However, Rodney opened the front door and yelled for them to freeze, armed with a .44 Magnum revolver. And remember that English is not Yoshi's first language, and it is unknown if he even knew what Rodney wanted them to do. And it's also important to note that Yoshi did not have his contact lenses in, so he may not even have seen the gun. And he was also holding a camera, which Rodney mistook for a weapon, so Rodney shot Yoshi in the chest from about 5 feet away before going back to his house. Webb went to the neighbor's house to call emergency services because, of course, they did not have cell phones yet. So, Rodney and Bonnie did not open the door for them and reportedly yelled for the teens to go away when they banged on the door. And on the way to the hospital, Yoshi died in the ambulance due to a bullet through his left lung. Now, we're definitely going to get into the information on the trial in just a second, but I wanted to discuss these people and their decision to not let an obviously severely injured teenager into their home after he's been shot. I feel like these people should have been knowledgeable with gun safety, and I'm not knowledgeable with gun safety, mind you. However, I feel like, given the circumstances with Yoshi and Webb not even going towards the house enough, they did not need to be shot, and even if they were, at least call an ambulance, which they never did. They never tried to save these teenagers, which blows my mind, by the way. But anyway, let's get to the trial. So let's get into the trial. The police first questioned and released Rodney due to his right to protect his home against protesters, but Louisiana Governor Edward Edwards and the Japanese Consul General in New Orleans, however, wanted to charge him with manslaughter. Rodney defended himself, claiming that Yoshi had a, quote, extremely unusual manner of moving, unquote, and that any person would find him, quote, scary, unquote. So, a little fact about Rodney is that he was 6'2" and armed with a gun, and Yoshi was a mere 130 pounds and unarmed. And because of this, District Attorney Doug Morrow argued that Rodney was not justified in using deadly force. The criminal trial lasted 7 days, and Rodney was found not guilty after the jury deliberated for 3 hours. Although he was not found guilty on criminal charges, Rodney was taken to civil court and was found liable for $650,000 in damages. And luckily, Yoshi's parents used that money to establish 2 charities in Yoshi's name to support students in the U.S. wanting to visit Japan and to lobby for gun control. and Rodney stated that he would never own a gun again. So I wasn't at the trial. I can't say the exact evidence that they used to prove that he was not guilty, but he was found not guilty, so we're assuming criminally he did not break any laws. Talking about Rodney. My only thing is, I just could never imagine shooting an unarmed 16-year-old boy trying to find a Halloween party. I don't know, man. And I'm gonna be honest, this case was really hard to actually focus on because I watched videos, I looked up research on my own, I watched documentaries, and throughout the entire case, I was just like sweating, like, oh my god, this is intense. This is like, this happened where I went to college. This is right where I know. And plus, it's just a really sad case knowing that such a young boy had to die at just 16 years old, especially while he was on a trip to the US from Japan. I mean, I couldn't imagine how his parents felt and how his host family felt, because I know if he was spending time with his host brother, Webb, I know he must have been close to that family, so it must have been so difficult on all of them. But anyway, that is the case of Yoshihiro Hattori, a little boy. I say little boy, he was 16, he was probably bigger than me, but a young man just trying to come to school in the US and had to die just to go to a party. But anyway, tell me what you think of this case. Feel free to shoot me an email, message me on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you use social media. You can find me at That Ain't Right Podcast on all the socials. Thank you to Tyler Marsh for making my amazing intro. His socials will also be in the description. Thank you so much for listening.